wake up every morning, put out this nice content for these viewers. Good mornings. Hello viewers, good morning. Another beautiful day. Yeah. Hope your five senses work, health and strength is good. Or excellent. What? Okay, you Linux users. You know, you Slackware users. You Ubuntu users. Debian users. Puppy Linux users. Weary Puppy. Racy Puppy. What's this one? Slacko Puppy. Mac Pup. Anywhere, you Fedora users. You what's this? What's this one? What's this? Puppy Linux again. For you Linux Mint users. What's this? XFCE users. You yeah, and you Ubuntu users and all you Linux users. Yeah. Got a nice little surprise for you guys. Remember that TPM support in Windows 11 when they first announced it? Yeah, it's Linux time. TPM support. And you're like, okay, what are you talking about? We're talking about Linux kernel 6.10. Yeah, ready? All right, let's do this. Listen to this. It says here, Linux kernel 6.10 release. This is what's new. It says the Linux kernel 6.10 has been officially released. The latest version of Linux kernel adds an array of improvements, including a new memory sealing system called a speed boost for AES/XTS encryption on Intel and AMD CPUs, and expanded Rust language support within the kernel to RISC-V. Says plus with all kernel release, there's a glut of groundwork to offer initial support for upcoming CPUs, GPUs, NPUs, and APUs, Wi-Fi, and other hardware. This ensures Linux support is in place when these new bits of hardware becomes available. Then it says, in an email to the Linux kernel mailing list, LKML, Linus Torvald announced the Linux 6.10 release. He notes the final week was perhaps not, quote, sick, that's sick is in parentheses, as quiet as the preceding ones, which I don't love, but it's also wasn't noisy enough to warrant an extra RC. Concluding to say the short log below his email is, as always, just the last week, not some kind of what happened this week. Oh, don't worry, Linus, I'm about to provide that. For an overview of what's new in this release, scroll on. Ready? Alright. Okay, Linux 6.10 features and changes, and then it says Linux 10 offers encryption interaction with a trusted platform module, TPM, to improve security. Remember when Windows 11 came out, Microsoft was stressing TPM? It's Linux turn. Anyway, it says here Linux adds, after much gnashing, and then it says the MSeal quote system call to prevent changes to portion of the virtual address space. This feature will, for now, mainly benefit Google Chrome, which plans to use it to harden its sandboxing. Then it says, but the kernel contributors are beavering a way to extend the usefulness of this feature to enable other applications to benefit. Another initial controversial change is the new memory allocation profiling subsystem, which helps developers fine-tune memory usage and better identify memory leaks. An explainer from LWN summarizes it well. Linux 6.10 also introduced encrypted interactions with trusted platform modules, TPM, to make the kernel use of the TPM reasonably robust in the face of external snooping and packet altercation attacks. Then it says the documentation explained, for every in-kernel operation we use null primary salted HMAC to protect the integrity, and we use parameters encryption to protect key sealings and parameters decryption to protect key unsealing and random number generation. Then it says, sticking with security, the Linux kernel landlocked security modules can now apply policies, and then it says IOC TL1, and then parentheses, call input/output control, restricting potential misuse and improving overall system security. Then it says here, on the networking side, Linux 6.10 brings significant performance improvement to zero copy send operation using IO_U ring, and introduces the ability to bundle multiple buffer for send and receive operation, also delivering an uptick in performance. Then new subtopic, improve hardware support in Linux 6.10. I'll skip the usual, another basic feature to support a next generation GPU/CPU module made since it's not that interesting for hardware none of us owns/on the market, a bit like saying another brick has been laid but the wall is not yet finished. Then it says what interests me more is new and improved support in Linux kernel for hardware some have already owned, are considering purchasing, or is due to be released soon. As you did hope, Linux kernel 6.10 includes plenty of goodies on this front. And then it says Asus ROG 2024 series and Lenovo ThinkPad, I was going to say Legion 13X now have working sound via the Cirrus CS35i41 driver. The Microsoft Surface driver adds fan profile switching and thermal sensor reporting on Pro models. The ThinkPad ACPI driver picks up track points, double tap support. Then it says owners of the ARM-powered Acer Aspire 1, then in parentheses is A114-61. Then it says from 2021 will be applied to here that Linux 6.10 offers near complete support for the laptop. A new custom EC driver delivers reliable battery charging / reporting, USB Type-C video out, and lid close detection. Then it says many new laptop features Intel IPU and MIPI camera sensors for better low light performance, improved image quality, and faster frame rates. However, the Linux kernel has, owing to a lack of effort from Intel, lack a robust IPU6 driver. It says here, well, good news. Linux kernel 6.10 gains a bona fide Intel IPU6 driver, webcam on Tiger Lake and newer laptops with 6th gen Intel IPUs are reported to work like a champ. Then it says the hardware monitoring subsystem HWMON is equipped to glean data from more devices, including NZXT Kraken 23/Elite CPU coolers, Aqua computers, Octoflow sensors, and Dell Precision 7540 and G5 5505 laptops. Bluetooth support is enabled for Intel Wi-Fi 7, BE201, and MediaTek MT7922 Wi-Fi 6E wireless modules, the latter being a popular component in mini PCs like the Geekcom A8. Powering down this section, Linux 6.10 ships a set of Intel and AMD P-State CPU frequency scaling updates. The Intel driver adjusts handling of disabled turbo boost functionality, while the AMD driver improves thermal performance for Zen 2/Threadripper. And you know the Steam Deck uses Zen 2, by the way. It says here, on the ARM side, the MediaTek CPU frequency driver gains support for MT7988A and a Feed Logic 880 system on a chip, which is used in several open hardware projects, including the popular Banana Pi BPI-R4 OpenWRT router board. Okay, another subtopic. Here's where the handhelds come in. Because in this picture I see some controllers, see an Asus ROG and a couple others. It says here gaming improvements in Linux 6.10. And you Steam Deck fans are going to love this. See? Updates are just rolling in. It says here gaming wise, the well-regarded $60 Machine-like G5 Pro wireless controller, which among other features has Hall effects joysticks, having switched to a controller with them, I did never go back to something without them, is now supported in the mainline XPad driver. Linux 6.10 also intros support for the IMU motion sensor on the who? Steam Deck. It says here accelerometer and gyroscope, and expands HID coverage for Asus ROG Ally and Asus ROG Z13, including the former QAM button and the ladder light bar. Then it says an array of ARM-powered devices gain mainline support with Linux kernel 6.10, including the Game Force Chai, a colorful landscape handheld for retro game emulation, powered by our Rockchip RK3326. Then it says, and there's mainline support for Alwinner H700 chip used by the Ambernic RG35XSH, RG35XX Plus, and RG35XX Gaming handheld, plus device tree support for the devices, e.g. thumbsticks, speakers, USB port, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, etc. Then it says, in all pretty decent. Another subtopic, other changes in Linux 6.10. Then it says a couple of months ago, Kernel announced Ubuntu support for RISC v Milk v Mars single board computer. Linux 6.10 mainline support for the Milk v Mars, making that endeavor more viable, especially with the Ubuntu 24.10 kernel likely to be version 6.10 or newer. Says other RISC v improvement abound in Linux 6.10, including the Rust language support, boot image compression in BZ2, LZ4, LZMA, LZ0, and Z standard instead of the only gzip, and support for using newer AMD GPUs with RISC v thanks to kernel mode FPU support. Now says here, aside from the things mentioned above, Linux 6.10 also includes new Panther DRM driver for newer ARM, Mali, and Immortalis GPUs, DisplayPorts / EDP support for Qualcomm Snapdragon X Elite, CPU frequency pressure feedback adds to kernel scheduler, support for Zone Rider plugins, ZWP, support for configuring powered over Ethernet, PoE, EROFS file system, that's EROFS file system, gain Z standard compression support, Fuse subsystem adds integrity protection with Verity, assorted B cache FS improved, that's B cache FS improvements, improve FireWire IEEE 1394 support, Rust language update to version 1.78.0, Rust abstraction for time handling now included, crypto usage statistics features removed from the kernel. And then it says there's a lot more packed into this kernel release than the highlight I covered. The folks at LWN recapped the first half of the 6.10 merge window and the second half. I'll leave the link in the description box. It says, which saves Linus a job. Getting Linux 6.10. Chances are you want to install Linux kernel 6.10. If you are a whiz at compiling code, you can. The latest kernel source is available to download. Don't want to compile your own kernel? Don't blame you. Wait for your Linux distribution to package this update for you. When will that be? It varies from distro to distro. Then it says Ubuntu users want the latest Linux kernel will need to do their homework. Says Ubuntu LTS users do get new Linux kernel updates, but these kernels are backport from newer Ubuntu releases. So for 24.4, that's 24.04, there won't be a new HWE kernel until Ubuntu 24.10 is released. On the flip, users of the Ubuntu-based POP OS do get the latest Linux kernel, bearing snaffles and hiccups as a software update a few weeks after they publicly release. This is because System 76 packaged them. They don't come from Conical/Ubuntu. Other Ubuntu blogs often say Ubuntu users can use the Conical mainline kernel build. These aren't intended for regular users. They're not signed, may fail to boot, don't receive security updates, and can lack Ubuntu specific patch/fixes. Then it says, however, plenty of impatient sorts do run them a great many without issues. If there's a feature or fix in Linux 6.10 you simply can't wait for, then those prepackaged debs, that's DEBS, an option, use them at your own risk. Okay? And that is that. So yeah, you Linux users, from the laptop, from the server, laptop, desktop, on your tablets, and on your handhelds, the Steam Deck. Oh yeah, you got a nice little update. So you guys are good for now until the next Linux kernel. So yeah, these developers, they're busy and they're always working to keep the technology, to keep the tech industry moving. So all you Linux users, whatever distro you're using, Linux 6.10 kernel is here. So yeah, have fun, have fun and mess around. Yeah. So whenever these Linux kernel comes out, you know, they cover a whole lot. You know, so yeah, and they take care of gaming too. You know, Wi-Fi's and APUs, CPUs, GPUs, NPUs are all included. So yeah, and now Linux now is you know, including the TPM support. Remember when Microsoft was when they released Windows 11, they were asking for TPM support. You know, your computer must have TPM support to use Windows 11. So now Linux is doing the same thing. So yeah, security is an issue. You know, so they're trying to stay on top of things. You know, stay ahead of the hackers, so to speak. Yeah, but other than that, man, you guys are you're good. Yeah, updates are like this marching. You know, you know, they could updates come in at any given hour, any given day. You know, they just show up. You know, so yeah. I mean, for your desktop, your laptop, portable devices, and of course the Steam Deck. So yeah, and yeah, these developers, they're always working, man. You know, always working. You know, problems do come up. You know, they're always trying to find out, you know, how to make things, you know, work better, perform better, how they can get the best result. You know, so yeah. But anyway, hope you guys still enjoy the video though. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, still a Star Wars and Star Trek thing, or Dark Side. Go. Peace.